Egbekemi, Oshunlewa, the return of ancestors thrown from a household of slaves. I've been on Amazon and put in my order for this book, and it took like 3 days. It took about 2 or 3 days to get this book. So anybody that's watching this video, definitely go on Amazon, put in your order and get this book. It's definitely a must read. It's definitely a must read. This book is like a biology book. This book is like a spiritual biology book. It's over 300 pages, and it deals with the family dynamic, the dynamic of the family. So it deals with the science of the feminine, the science of the masculine. It deals with the science of the great-grandmother. It deals with the science of the great-grandfather. It deals with the science of the grandmother. It deals with the science of the grandfather. It deals with the science of the mother. It deals with the science of the father. It deals with the science of the son. It deals with the science of the daughter. The science of the auntie, the science of the uncle, the science of cousins, etc. So, like I say, it's like a spiritual biology book. So this book is called The Return of Ancestors. And when I see that word return, I just think of geometry. I think of circles when I see that, because if there's a return, that means something was here before. So when we deal with ancestors, we deal with beings that been here before. I like to call them immortals, because energy never dies. They just go through a transformation and come back in a different form. And they're coming back through us, through genetics. So, like I say, when I see that word return, I think of circles. I think of infinity. It's infinite, 360 degrees, infinite, forever and ever and ever. Also, when we deal with geometry, we deal with circles, we deal with triangles, the triad, the 3D reality, 3D, person, places, things. Then we deal with squares. We deal with, 90 degrees on each corner of the square earth, Mother Earth. So when we deal with the square, we deal with matter. We deal with the physical, manifestation of the matter. So this is all geometry, which comes from thoughts. On a basic level, thoughts are reality, because thoughts take form. All thoughts, become a shape. So, like I say, the return. And, we deal with circles, we deal with, it's a lot of activity going on outside right now. But like I said, we deal with returns, we deal with circles, we deal with vortexes, we deal with portals, we deal with return. And those ancestors, they're coming through that portal, they're coming through us. The earth itself is a portal. So, we got to get out of this whole linear straight line thinking. Because when you have a straight line consciousness, this is how you forget. This is how you become, you fall into a spiritual coma. You in the spiritual coma, out here sleepwalking, sleepwalkers. When you have a straight line consciousness, you look back like, man, that was a long time ago. Anything that was a long time ago, there's no coming back. Like, it's just a straight line. This is how you forget. This is how you become a forgetful being. But that doesn't exist when we deal with circles, because circles, everything comes back again. Everything has has a point. So what once was become again. Who you used to be, it will come back to you again. You just got to be open enough to recognize what's going on. Are you ready to receive who you once was? So that's what, dealing with circles and, dealing with geometry is, So when I see the return, it's just a lot of things go through my mind when I see that. And like I say, this book deals with alignment a lot. So like I say, we're in this 3D reality, we're in this blood, flesh, and bones reality, 3D, third dimension, as above, so below as above. So people always think about the universe when they hear that, like, as above, like people think it's always dealing with the universe. No, as above deals with your spirit. Who you are in spirit, it's going to manifest who you are in the physical. So that's what that means on a personal level. As above, so below. So as above, how are you in spirit? Do you got an ugly spirit? Do you got a negative spirit? Do you got a toxic spirit? Do you got a witchcraft spirit? Do you got a demonic spirit? Because if so, that's who you're going to become in the below. You're going to raise hell down here in the physical. So who you are in spirit is who you are in the physical. So that's what that means on a personal level. Of course, the other things, the more basic things, the sun, moon, and stars, universe, as above, so below. But on a deeper personal level, it's more so dealing with who you are in spirit, is who you should be, who you shall be in the physical. So, like I say, go on Amazon when y'all get a chance, put in y'all order for this book and check it out, I just finished reading it yesterday, and I'm gonna end up reading this book again, If it's like a really good book, I read it 2 or 3 times, because you'll pick up more gems, when you read things, a second or third time. So I got a busy day today. King Loso, El Loso, I'm always busy. So I'm about to sign off, but check out this book, The Return of Ancestors Thrown from a Household of Slaves.